What Shannon didn't say is the application for admission, she processes all the applications worldwide. Okay, they come in through her office except for the Go Army Ed students, and that's also processing student services. So ours, in addition to our campuses here on Central Campus and Service Area, we're serving all the Army students worldwide that are using military tuition. They come through Mr. O'Donovan's office, and then of course the application actually comes through the admissions office here, and that really took off when we changed over to the TargetX application. And we really like it because we can actually control how we can update it, whereas our old application that was online, we had to wait like every 6 months for the company, and then they would update it. So we just added a statement about authorizing us to look up TSI scores for students that have took the test at the other schools, and within like 2 hours, Shannon had on the new application. So we really appreciate all the hard work that IT has done. John Oakes, his crew. I mean, they've really done a lot, okay, to get that going. So we really appreciate it. And now I want to introduce Eva Hutchins. She's our Associate Dean for Enrollment Services. Okay, and she oversees academic advising, Eagles On Call Center, our international students, and our Kate Center guidance and counseling. Oh, whoops, academic advising.
Good morning. Thank you for listening. That's getting towards the end, so I appreciate your attention. The other department that Dean Walsh did mention is the evening and weekend advisors, which was just added over on the student services side. So I'm really excited to work with them. It's brought me in closer with the academic department, Dean Anderson, Kirsten Brooks on our staff, advising through that department. You know, it's one of the areas where I'm excited to have them expand, you know, the advising presence of traditional hours, because our students are not traditional. So one of the things has been continuous improvement, which is definitely something that I, as a supervisor, continuously want to do. And then, of course, hoping you're seeing that throughout the experiences that students are having with advising. So one of the things we did this year was to expand appointments. Students can book appointments online with advising. And there's no blockage when they can do that. They can do that year-round. So I'm hoping that was successful and a positive thing for our students during this last registration period. And then, as Shannon mentioned, the TargetX side, she starts with the recruitment, of course, getting the students applied, and then, then it's a handoff to advising. So we do want to be heavily involved in that. We are. It's something that is upcoming to make sure that the advising offices are working with that student, bearing out that relationship by using the technology to reach out to them and get them in as quickly as possible, and then continue that relationship throughout their career. So as they make relationships with you all in the academic departments, referrals to services across campus, Dean Starkey's going to talk about a lot of that. And so I do hope that as we continue to go through that, you'll see more and more improvements in that area. And then lastly, I want to talk about Eagles On Call. In late 2016, early 2017, 2015, we started moving that department into what it is now. So I'm hoping that with the folks who are here today, that's something that's a resource for our Europe and continental sites and Navy, that they're helping you out. They are open 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. So hopefully that's bridging some of your work hours, not here at Central Standard Time. So I really hope that as you're working with these departments, working with the staff, that you're seeing that continual improvement and growth in those areas. So thank you.
Our next speaker is going to be our Associate Dean for Veterans Administration, Veteran Services and Financial Aid, and that's Annabelle Smith. And I just want to know, she handles both financial aid and veteran services. How many veterans do you think attend CTC that would be using their education benefits? Any guess? 15,000? We have the highest number of veterans attending CTC in the state of Texas. Okay, we have over 5,000 post 9/11 GI Bill benefit recipients. Okay, the next community college, even closest to us, is Austin Community College with a little over 2,000. Okay, and so that shows you a lot about what we do at the VA, and of course financial aid is even. We probably have 6,000 students using financial aid at least. Okay.
Well, she said it all. I'm going to sit down. There's some people I want to introduce. Since we have the C&I people here, I wanted to, Vicki, when your students that are taking classes online and out from out of your site and such, this is where their VEC goes to. Vicki Petzer, she's on Eagles on Call, but she's trained to be a VA certifying official, and she is quick, fast, and good. Okay? So there's a face, that's what I'm talking to. She's fantastic. In my office, I think right now, Jose, you're the only one here? Jose Lopez. Do I have anybody else? I had one that came because she had a doctor's appointment. You know the VA will just switch your appointment without telling you. And then all of a sudden, you've got to, and then, Cindy, are you here? We are very fortunate. Come up here a second so they can see your face. We are very fortunate that we are assigned 2 vet success counselors by the VA. We have an MOU with the Veterans Administration. And we have Cynthia Oswald is one of our vet success counselors. And James Morgan was here, but as I told you, they switched your appointments out of the blue sky. He had to leave. But these folks, their computers are hooked directly to VA. So when we get a call from Europe, from Rick, can you find out if so-and-so, they're over here in Europe, and guess what? They didn't bring their certificate of eligibility. They're not really too sure where the process is. They think they did, but they're not sure. So we get a hold of them, and within about 10 minutes, we have an answer to shoot back to Europe. So it works very well. We're very wonderful and happy to have. Thank you so much. We're very fortunate that we have 2. We used to be one of only 2, but I think Houston Community College just got 2 assigned to them. Dean Welsh, I told you, we certify from the Texas campus here. For taking Texas courses, we certify, well, last semester count was 5,352. Now that's individual head count, right here, this area. That doesn't mean that we only touch their paperwork one time. You site directors can know this too, don't you? Yeah. They registered in this. Oh, I changed my mind. I'm going to register in this. Well, this doesn't fit my schedule. I'm going to register in this. So every time they change, you've got to go in and do a different change. So it's very difficult to do that with all those students. One thing that we also do in our Veterans Office here is the approval of programs. And you site directors, you know that, trying to get your catalogs approved through your state approving agency. We will help with that. Some of your sites you do it yourself, but we're very happy to help you do that. But also for the people that are professors and such, you need to realize that before we can offer your program and have a veteran enroll in it and use it, we have got to get it approved through our state approving agency. Then it has to go to the VA. Then it has to be listed on your site. And you site directors are familiar with this, that if it's not listed on your site, you can't certify the student for it. So we appreciate all the heads up that we can get going with that. On financial aid, Oh, I love financial aid. We're dealing with federal rules and regulations. And when you're out in the districts and out in the sites, it gets to be very difficult because the students are not sure what they're doing. They come to you for questions. We ask that everybody please be referred directly to the financial aid office. They need to file their FAFSA. Encourage them to file them. Professors, students, fellow students, tell them to come to the financial aid office. So many of them will make an assumption, they won't check, they won't look, then we have issues. Make sure that they contact and keep in contact with the financial aid office. There's not a whole lot more that I really wanted to talk about except to get everybody introduced. Anything else I should cover, Dean Welsh? I think I've just about covered it.
One of two colleges, Yellow Ribbon.
Oh, the Yellow Ribbon Program.
Oh, yeah.
This is for colleges here in Texas. It's Central Campus that is approved for the Yellow Ribbon Program. It is for the that's what I want. It's the above cost of the normal tuition. We're one of two in the state of Texas of the community colleges that do the Yellow Ribbon. But the sites know that the people are out there that are taking these distance learning courses and they're taking them here. They're all our Yellow Ribbon students, and we do have a lot of Yellow Ribbon students. If you have any questions about it, contact the Veteran Service Office. We'll be happy to explain it to you. And we thank you all for all your assistance. Any questions? If you have any issues, you have a student with an issue, please have them come get a hold of us. We don't want them to get upset and angry and not get it resolved. We want to get it resolved as quickly as we possibly can. There's a lot of changes coming down the pike with this new Forever GI Bill. I can't tell you what we're going to hit. We've hit a few barriers, but a lot of it is going to depend on the VA getting their computers and such up to date. But anyway, I'm going to give the mic back to Dean Welsh. I don't know who's on next.
I think I'm up next.
You're up next?
Howdy, y'all. I'm Julie Starkey. I'm the Dean for Student Success and Persistence, and I'm so glad to be here. I've spent many years not in Texas, so it's so good to say howdy to you guys. Awesome. Anyway, I am here to talk about student success, and I'm going to talk about a specific initiative that we are pursuing. It is not going to be Target X. I love Target X, but I'm so tired of talking about it. And most of you in this room have heard my spiel on it, and I'm not going to go there. I want to talk about something else that is really exciting from our area. In my area, I have a lot of departments, and I don't even know that you guys know that those departments are part of the student success and persistence area, but we do what we do because you guys make referrals to us. Because you realize that students need something and you reach out to one of our areas so that we can support that student. Those areas obviously are the academic studio, and that's where my office is located, but it also involves career services, it involves disability support services, it involves the residence hall, and it involves student life and everything that we have. So if I have some student success and persistence staff members here today, can you guys stand up? Can you guys stand up? I want you guys, I know I have the DSS over here. I have career services here too. Yes. They do an amazing job. Thank you. It's not just me. But again, I can only do what we do if you guys make referrals to us. And that's what I'm asking you to do, is be our partner. How many of you have made a referral to a student for tutoring? I would hope everybody in this room raises their hand. We have many tutoring options on this campus, not just through the academic studio. You can refer them to the library for help with writing, the math center. We have over to the computer area. There's many locations. And I want to ask you guys to take the time when you have a student that is struggling academically or in another way, make that referral. Because I gotta tell you, the hardest thing for a student to do is they need to hear that information, and then they have to walk through that door and say, you know what, I need help. I need to meet with the tutor. I need someone to help me. It's really hard sometimes for a student to do that. But if they know that somebody else is making that referral, they're more apt to do that. So if you have made that referral specifically to the Academic Studio, we really appreciate it. I want to share with you another tutoring opportunity that I now want you to share. And everybody should have gotten it when you checked in about online tutoring. It is something we are starting this year. It is right now just through the Academic Studio. And it's really, we're trying to reach out to students who may be at a remote location that need us. Guys, it's not going to be the end-all be-all. There are going to be problems. We recognize that, but it is a step forward. You're going to learn this about me. I'm an eternal optimist. I have to be. When you're working with student success, we have to be optimists. We have to be motivators. And so I really believe in online tutoring, but yes, we are going to have issues and concerns. Just the other day, we had a student from Germany reach out to us, and it was a time issue, and we couldn't make it work. And so I felt bad about that. But we're going to work through those things. But we do have it, and I wanted everybody to get the flyer. We are going to be emailing this out to all students, all faculty, all staff. Please make the referral. You will see at the very bottom, it is the link where they access online tutoring. It is through an appointment system, so the students have to schedule an appointment for tutoring. They are done by the tutors that we have here on campus. So those are the hours. They use the equipment that we have in the Academic Studio. We've had to get some additional equipment to make this possible. It is going to be done using TutorTrack is how they make their appointment. And then the tutoring actually happens through Blackboard Collaborate is how it happens. And so we're using existing resources. But it kind of walks through how it happens, how a student goes through, requests the appointment for us, and then the tutor will be available at that time. Students can have, it's a 1 hour block of tutoring. They can have up to 2 hours a day. It is going to be based on the tutors that we have available. So if they need math tutoring and they want it 2 days from now, but the math tutor, I don't have a math tutor, which that wouldn't happen. We always have a math tutor every day. But I'm just saying, then potentially it wouldn't be available. But I just wanted you to know what we're trying to do. We really are trying to pay attention to what students need. And if you have other ideas or other things, please let us know. That's what we're here for. And thank you. And I'm so glad you gave me the opportunity to talk to you. And have a great day.
How you doing? Everybody's hanging in there? I haven't seen anybody suffering from academic whiplash yet. So we should be getting it again. I believe the only person left is one each Michelle Parker. She's going to give us our update, read all updates. So we started.
Since we're a little ahead of schedule, I wanted to take this opportunity to recognize my team. I am the Deputy Chancellor for Finance and Administration, so we are all things support. We are the infrastructure, the skeleton of Central Texas College. We have the non-glamorous jobs, but the very essential jobs of supporting everything that you do. So if you are in the Finance Department, Human Resources Department, Risk Management Department, Information Technology, Facilities Management, or Business Services, please stand. Thank you. I just want to say publicly what I always say privately. Thank you. At this time, I want to take a moment to tell you a little bit about what's going on with our infrastructure project. As it's already been said and it's already been seen, we're tearing up the campus. But we are more than halfway through, and the next time we convene this meeting and the site directors meeting, it'll be beautiful. So this is a 2-phase multi-year project that spanned 3 fiscal years. started at the beginning of 2017 and will conclude in August 2019, right, Mark? Okay. So that is the target date. Before I hand the mic over to Mark Harmson, who's going to give us an update on the overall project, I did want to let you know that we did some reorganization in our area. And so now the campus police department is actually under Mr. Harmson as well. So I've nicknamed him Commissioner Harmson. And you can feel free to call him that also. So Mark, if you would please come up.
All right, because I'm towards the end, I will try not to go past an hour. Okay, as everybody is aware, we have a infrastructure project going on throughout campus. If you're not aware, I'm letting you know now, we have an infrastructure project going on throughout campus. It's being completed in 2 phases. The first phase was started actually a couple years ago, as Ms. Carter had indicated. We're really focused on the electrical infrastructure around campus. The second phase, which we're in now, will be completed this next summer, focuses on the mechanical. There's some site lighting, some landscaping. Most of you will notice out in the mall area some of the improvements going on there, some parking lot improvements. I do want to go ahead and thank you for your patience. I know it's not easy. I know that there are at times frustrations that take place because areas are either too hot or too cold. We're certainly working diligently to try to improve that. I also want to go ahead and thank the board. They've been extremely supportive of us spending the dollars that we are to make the improvements that we need for both staff, faculty, and students. Let me also mention there's a couple additional benefits that are going to take place as a part of the infrastructure project. One, the standalone equipment that's being installed in the individual buildings on the lower part of campus. So as you can see from the diagram here, all of the red boxes are going to be standalone mechanical yards. Certainly where we've run into problems in the past is when we've got a problem with a boiler or a chiller. Every building on campus was essentially connected to that same system. So when you had to go ahead and take the system down, it impacted pretty much every building on the lower part of campus. Now each building will be on its own and it will allow us to isolate problems and hopefully not impact the broader part of campus. Secondly, there'll be a number of ADA conditions that are improved throughout the mall area. I know that will certainly be an advantage for students. There will be a more inviting environment for all of our guests, students, faculty. I'll show you what the rendering of what the mall area is going to look like once it's completed. We're certainly focusing on some improved lighting, which will help the campus safety. We've got more activities that are taking place in the evening hours, especially with classes. We want to make sure that it's safe for students. And then we're going to have some redundancy of critical infrastructure like electrical and fiber. If anybody remembers, I think it was about 2 weeks or so ago, there was about an hour and a half, 2 hours, where we had an electrical outage. One of the contractors working in the mall actually hit one of our electrical lines. But fortunately, because we had already completed the electrical infrastructure piece, once Encore was able to reestablish power back to campus, we were able to divert and reroute power to the other buildings. Had that occurred probably a year or two ago, it would have taken down the entire campus probably for, it could have been up to several days potentially. So the redundancy, I think, is going to be really key for us. The other thing I'll mention is that there are 5 buildings that are adjacent to the power plant. Right back over here to the west will continue to be supported by the power plant. So I think we've got an overall a pretty good plan in place. This is a little rendering of what the mall area is going to look like. If any of you have actually gone over by the courtyard area, over by the academic building 104, you can see a little snippet. Within this weekend, I think, they're supposed to be releasing the next piece of this, and I've got a pointer here. But the area right over here, just to the east of the academic building 104, is going to be opened up. And then if you go out there, you'll also notice that they're pouring the new pad. There'll be some pavers added between the student center as well as the library, so that's coming along. but we've tried to go ahead and make the area more inviting with easy access from one side of the campus to the other. There'll be plenty of other benches, there'll be tables, we're going to have some umbrellas. We're going to try to make it as inviting as we can for students to enjoy the outdoors. The phasing, I'm not going to really go over this, just to let you know that the mall area will probably be under construction to varying degrees. A lot of that depends upon the weather through the end of December. As that area has been completed, they'll go through and they'll open that up, and we'll have easier access being able to get from building to building. We're also going to be looking at putting in a monument, and this will be a monument towards the students, those who may have died in service that we're also students here at CTC, as well as first responders. It'll probably be somewhere on the east end of the mall, but it should be a really nice environment for folks to go and just reflect. One of the other projects that unfortunately is going to impact probably everybody in the room as well as our students, there is going to be a sanitary sewer line that's going to be replaced. It's going to start in front of the administration building, 108, and will actually come down from north to south of Academic Drive. So as this work proceeds, and it will be, they haven't started it yet, they're going to be starting probably within the next week or two. Some of the weather has delayed the start. So I would anticipate that towards the beginning of October to the middle or the end, parts of Academic Drive will be impacted. So we're going to encourage folks to either go through the former married student housing area, or if they want to go around on Bell Tower, that's certainly accessible as well. Along with that, the remainder of the bulk of the project, once the individual buildings are complete, is going to be around the power plant. This is lot E2. This entire lot, unfortunately, is going to have to be closed, so parking is going to have to be diverted to either our parking lot, which is just to the south of the campus center, or over by the administration building. But this is where the bulk of the infrastructure is going to go in order to feed the 5 surrounding buildings that will be supported through the power plant. I don't know if you can read this. I tried to make it as large as possible. Certainly if you have a question, you can go ahead and contact us. This is just a quick timeline for those who are impacted by one of these buildings. Kind of gives you a general idea as to when the finish date is expected. A lot of the project is dependent upon the weather. Also, believe it or not, the hurricanes in the North Carolina area, South Carolina has impacted some of the materials that we were getting. So you may end up seeing a little bit of delays, but overall, I certainly expect us to be completed by the summer of next year. 2 other projects that I wanted to go ahead and make an announcement on, although the first one may actually change based upon the new signage that was identified on some of the other locations. So, but we were working on a campus signage and wayfinding project. A number of those are still in process, certainly because of the construction that's going on throughout campus. We're having to delay that, but once the construction ends, we'll be able to continue. We're also looking at some additional entrance monuments just to signify that when you go by the campus that this is Central Texas College. So those will be coming. The other piece of it, and this will actually be going to the board for approval this month, we're looking at an access control project, which is really around security cameras. Most of you may, maybe not, be aware that we had actually completed an electronic lock of all of our exterior doors on campus, which gives us the ability to lock down if we were to have some type of an emergency situation. We can lock down individual buildings or the entire campus at one time. We wanted to follow up with that with having a robust camera system. Not all of our buildings currently have cameras. A number of them, we actually have 3 different systems. So it makes it very difficult to actually identify what may be happening throughout campus. We think this will be a great addition and help improve safety overall. If anybody, don't want to jump ahead there, I guess. But anyway, I wanted to go ahead and thank everybody for your patience. hopefully the remainder of the project will go fairly smoothly and we can all enjoy the benefits.
All right, we're just about done. So, as we close out today's big event session, I just wanted to bring to your attention the importance of Eagles on Call. A couple of years ago, at our last big event, we did a SWOT analysis, and one of the issues that we identified as a weakness was communication across and throughout the institution. But we flipped that, and we said, no, that's an opportunity for improvement. And so out of that was birthed, if you will, 2 initiatives. The first being the Chancellor's Monthly Update, and many of you have seen that. It comes out in the form of a memo electronically every month, and he highlights the department and just kind of gives you an update on new department initiatives and programs and services, etc. How many of you have found those to be very informative? All right, very good. The second initiative is Eagles Connections. And Eagles Connections is really just about what we've been doing all morning. It's about building relationships, learning about what one another does, and learning from one another. So with Eagle Connections, I'm not going to read the slide to you, but I'll tell you what my takeaway is on that. Number 1, it's going to allow you to be a resource, a better resource for the students, a better resource for your community, and a better resource for your coworkers. Number 2, it's going to allow you to be an ambassador. As Chance already said, you are a representative in the community of Central Texas College. So as you learn more, you are able to share more. Anybody who works at CTC and has been stopped in the community, they think you know everything CTC. A to Z, you gotta know what's going on at CTC because you work there. Well, Eagle Connection sessions will allow you to learn a little more so you can field those questions. And then thirdly, it's an in-house network. I mean, it's networking in-house, and it gives you an opportunity to, again, like I said, learn more about what each other does. So, mark the dates. Can everybody see the dates up there? The dates aren't up there. Okay, the dates are, can I have the dates? Uh-oh, I just told my age. October 19th, November 30th, February 15th, and March 29th. Those are Fridays, and at about 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, depending on the department and the schedule, there will be a session of approximately 1 hour where a specific department or departments will provide an update, and they'll give you an opportunity to ask questions, and like I said earlier, learn from the departments. So that concludes my area. That concludes the big event.